Miss Cleveland, you say your 18-month marriage is in jeopardy because your husband denies he's your son Hunter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have no doubts, and you are desperate to prove he is the father and save your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cleveland, you admit that your wife was unfaithful and you have good reason to doubt Hunter is yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you have petitioned the court for a lie detector test for your wife to determine the extent of her infidelities.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Cleveland, what is the state of your marriage right now?
Our marriage is currently on the rocks. We argue on the daily. I see him treating our son differently than he does his daughter, and it bothers me inside.
I try not to treat him any differently. I try to treat him like he's mine.
You said you try to, Mr.
Yes,
Cleveland.
ma'am. I mean, it's a little hard sometimes, I'm not going to lie, Your Honor. I mean, there's that thought there that he is not mine, and that makes a person really emotionally upset. There are times that I'm holding him and I look at him and, you know, I don't see me in him, and I have to set him down and walk away because it's just, it's
He is
too hard
only
to
one
handle
and a
sometimes.
half years old. He has a whole life to grow and to get more features that resemble my husband.
Yes, he does, but
He is so young.
The handsome
he
little
can
guy.
grow to look like me, but I don't see it. I see so many features, I see so many features that aren't me, and
So
it
you
makes me
just
wonder.
don't see yourself when you hold him. And this, I'm sure, is affecting him in some ways, but affecting your marriage as well.
Yes,
a
Your
lot.
Honor, it is.
How?
We fight all the time over everything. There's never a calm moment in our life. We're
It's not.
You said never a calm moment.
No, ma'am,
No,
it's
ma'am.
not.
Well, that can't be good for you or the children.
It's not.
No.
So you're constantly arguing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We try to stay away from each other as much as possible, so we don't argue.
We really do.
All of this stems from this paternity doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
It has
does.
literally permeated the fabric of your marriage
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
and is
it does.
destroying it.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor, it does. I mean, like she said, I feel like I'm living a lie, Your Honor. You know, I've been lied to and cheated on. You know, I feel.
Your Honor,
I
I've
feel
never
like,
cheated on him.
Oh.
I left him before I ever did anything with any other man.
Okay, so the text and everything behind my back isn't cheating. I consider that cheating.
What are the texts behind your back?
Like sexy messages, like I miss you, I love you, you're so handsome.
And you're right about that. You're right about
Wait.
that. But
Who are you sending those texts to? Your husband, I hope.
No, because my husband didn't treat me like a husband, and I feel
No,
unappreciated and unrespected, and so another man was giving me the respect and.
Sometimes, Your Honor, yes, I do treat her less and I do treat her wrong sometimes, yes. And a lot of it does stem from, I mean, I feel like I'm living a lie, Your Honor.
Why do you feel that way?
I'm in a marriage. My wife's a cheater. I don't know if this little guy is mine or not. I mean, I feel like
I
I'm
am
living a
not
lie.
a cheater. I didn't cheat on you.
Who are you texting?
He was an old friend of mine from school.
But isn't that cheating of some form? Isn't
It
that at
is.
least
It is, Your
emotional
Honor.
cheating?
It is, Your
It
Honor.
is.
I was ready to call it quits. I was ready to wash my hands with the whole situation. I was ready for a divorce. He finds out that I kissed this guy and he wants to be husband of the world, you know? He wanted to be a perfect husband.
When did you find out you were pregnant with Hunter?
I found out 2 weeks before we got back together.
And once you found out you were pregnant, you all reconciled.
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
decided
Yes,
to
Your Honor.
reconcile, Mr. Cleveland?
Yes, Your Honor.
And why is that? Did you reconcile because you believed Hunter was your biological child?
Yes, Your Honor. And
Oh.
I talked to her belly every day. You know, I went to work. You know, I sung to him while he was in her belly. I played him music. You know, I talked to him. I went to work to provide things for him. You know, his crib. You know, to get everything set up before he came along.
So how did it go wrong and get to the point where you didn't believe this child was your child?
A month after he was born, she informed me that he could possibly not
Your
be
Honor,
mine.
that is not true.
Yes,
you are
it
not.
is.
That is not true. I told him the first month I was pregnant that it could be his or his friends.
Now.
Wait, what? Hold on, don't just gloss over that. You told him a month, what did you say?
I was a month pregnant, and I told him it could be his child, but it could also be his friends because me and his friend had a sexual relationship.
No, she didn't, Your Honor. Otherwise, I would not have stuck around through that pregnancy if I knew there.
Wait a minute.
Kid was
He
not
told me
mine.
So
he'd
wait.
share one.
You had sex with your husband's friend?
He was my friend initially before I knew they were friends, but yes, they were friends also.
You basically informed him that the father of this child could either be you, my husband, or your friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Cleveland, you disagree.
Yes, Your Honor. it was
What
a
is
month-
your testimony?
It was a month after he was born that I found out that there was a possibility he wouldn't have been mine.
Did you go to the birth?
Yes, ma'am. I was there right after he came out. I was there beside him while they were cleaning him off, you know, all bloody and everything. I was the first person to hold him. I was the first person to get to take him to his mother. I mean, it was a very joyous time in my life. I didn't leave his side for 2, almost 3 hours. I mean, I stayed
And at
right
that
there beside
moment,
him.
you thought you had a beautiful baby boy. It was yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it wasn't until a month after that you say it was revealed to you that your friend could also be the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did she tell you this?
We were sitting at the house playing with Hunter, and it just kind of came out. She looked at me and she said, "Adam, there's something I have to tell you." And I said, "What is it?" And she said, "I slept with one of your friends around the time of conception, and there's a chance that he's not yours.
Really?
I want you to know that, and I think we may need to get a paternity test done to see if he's yours or not."
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Okay, so let me just ask you the obvious question. How do you end up sleeping with his friend?
His friend was giving me a different lifestyle. He was cleaning my lifestyle up. I was involved in church every Sunday. I wasn't out running the streets like I was with my husband. At the time, I was doing something with myself, and it made me
You were going to
productive.
church every Sunday and you end up sleeping with your husband's friend?
No.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
I mean,
She liked that he had money, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's not
I was
true.
at a down and out point in my life, and I was in a
Honor,
financial
that's not
crisis,
true.
and she liked the fact that he had more money.
He didn't even have a job, Your Honor.
I don't know what they were
so
spending the money
Miss
on,
Cleveland, what was it about this relationship that attracted you? Because you had unprotected sex with this person.
Yes, yes.
And that's why you had to admit to Mr. Cleveland, your husband, that this child may not be your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it just one time or were you all in a full relationship?
No, it was just once. It was just a one-time thing. I felt horrible about it. My heart was with my husband. I love him with all my heart. And I knew that it was wrong for me to be having sexual relationships with him when I didn't even care for him in that manner.
So
if you didn't care for him like that to begin with, why would you go to him? If your heart was with
For the
me,
lifestyle.
why?
For the lifestyle he was giving me.
Maybe if you'd have stuck with me and been a little more loyal, I wouldn't have been so down
And I
out.
realized
would've
that, and
went
that's why I
somewhere.
came back. I
Yeah,
realized
but
that.
You hurt me when you left, and you don't realize how much you hurt me when you left. You're supposed to stay loyal when somebody's down and out like that, not run off on them.
That's how I met you. You didn't try.
I've been through too many cheating relationships, Your Honor. I'm through with it. I'm fed up with it. I feel like I'm living a lie.
And so at some point, even after all of this, you all got back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, we did.
He married me a month before my son was born.
Well, so at that point, I mean, you all look happy.
We were.
We were, Your Honor. We really.
And when you see that picture, Miss Cleveland, it makes you.
It hurts me inside. Because that's not at all how we are anymore.
It's not. It hurts me too, Your Honor. So we're looking for, I don't know, we need to get some answers. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Our past wasn't left in our past when we got married, Your Honor, and that's where I think we messed up.
Yes. So that's why, Mr. Cleveland, you're requesting a lie detector test.
Yes, Your
In
Honor.
addition to the paternity results. There's no trust. You all do not trust one another.
We don't.
And the beautiful people we see in these photos, this beautiful family we're looking at, you just said, Miss Cleveland, it's all a lie.
It's all a lie. That's all an act. That's all an act. That's not real. That's not how we feel about each other.
And the fact that it hurts both of you that much to admit that it is a lie.
Yes. I mean, she just admitted she kissed another guy.
I did.
How did you end up kissing another guy when you're married? What happened?
Adam and I continuously fight every day, in and out, from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep. And he was at work. I had gotten a message from this guy that I'd been friends with since 7th grade, talking about how beautiful I was, just saying all the right things to me, just made me feel wonderful about myself. And I made the mistake of going to see him. And when we were sitting there talking, it just happened. We kissed, and I felt horrible about it. I felt like a gross person inside. I got in my car and I left. And I walked around with that burden that I'd kissed another man being married. And I told him a week later that, you know, I had messed up and I needed his forgiveness because I couldn't continue living like that.
You didn't tell me a week later, Your Honor. What told you I've been in cheating relationships before. I got that gut feeling like I had before, and I waited till she went to sleep that night, and I went through her phone, and I found messages. I can't wait to see you. You have handsome lips, so, you know, just all those.
And you're seeing this, you're reading this in her phone.
With my own two eyes, and I woke her up immediately and asked her what the heck was going on. I mean, I wanted to wait, but I was so wrapped up with emotion at the time, I wanted to answer it right then. This was my family, but, you know, since then, she's told me, you know, there's a possibility he's not, and we've been waiting for the chance to see if he's mine or not, and I really need to know.
Good. And that's
really
exactly why we're here.
If he's not mine, and if the lie detector test proves that she is lying, I'm afraid this marriage is going to be over. I can't continue to do this. I really can't.
Ms. Cleveland?
Yes, Your Honor.
The stakes are high here today.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
You came into court believing that your husband was 100% the father of this beautiful little boy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you still believe that?
Yes, Your
in
Honor.
this moment?
I do. He
You
is
do.
the father of my son, and that's all there is to it.
She believes it with everything in her, but I'm a good dad, and I know it. I'm a great father. I was raised by a great father, and I was taught how to be a great dad. And she sees that in me, and I think that's part of her motivation to hold on to this, is that she knows that he will have a good father.
I think it's time to get the lie detector results, and then we will get the paternity result.
Okay.
Ron, I'm ready for the envelope. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Cleveland, you met with a licensed polygraph expert.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before I read these lie detector results, what do you believe we will find out today?
The truth.
You were asked if you had sexual intercourse with the man you admitted to kissing recently. You said no. The lie detector determined that was the truth.
Thank God. Thank God.
Are you okay, Mr. Cleveland?
That makes me feel a
told
little
you.
better.
I told you.
Mrs. Cleveland, you were asked, since you have been married, have you had sexual intercourse with anyone besides your husband? You said no.
Yes.
The lie detector determined that was the truth. Good news, Mr. Cleveland?
Yes. That makes me feel a little better about the situation. It does. Here I have been thinking this whole time she's, you know, been lying to me. I can't trust her to go out with her friends because I don't know that she's telling me the truth. And it makes me feel better to find that. It makes me believe that I can trust her again. And maybe we can go somewhere with this.
Good. But we do need to make clear that we still have the paternity results. Ron? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Cleveland versus Cleveland, when it comes to 17-month-old Hunter Cleveland, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Cleveland,
Yes, sir.
you are not the father.
I thought so. I really thought so. I mean, I see it. I mean, I strongly looked at a lot of pictures and made myself want to believe that he was mine, but I just knew he wasn't.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Miss Cleveland,
Yes, ma'am.
you had told him that it possibly could be someone else's biological child.
Yes, ma'am.
Does this other person know?
Yes, Your Honor. He does know. And he wants nothing to do with him.
That's right. He wants nothing to do with his child, which is one reason that I have literally stayed through this, because I know in my heart, honestly, I wanted to leave before now, but I couldn't pull myself away from it because I knew that this is what I needed, a father.
So that's the only reason you're staying with me?
No, it's not just because of that. I love you, and I want this marriage to work. I'm glad to find out the truth.
You have to understand, Mr. Cleveland, and I've done this for a long time now. She's not angry at you. She's angry at herself.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Thomas, you claim you've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas for more than a year now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you've been notified that you will be paying support because you signed the birth certificate, but claim it was under false pretenses. Now, the court will decide whether there's reasonable cause to grant you a DNA test today. Ms. Zachary, you claim Mr. Thomas is the father of your daughter, and it's time he step up to the plate and bring your family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Thomas, when did you learn you were going to be put on child support?
2 weeks ago, Your Honor. I went to the mailbox thinking I'm getting a check, and unluckily, I end up getting a paper from child support saying that half my wages is going to be taken.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I don't mean to cut him off, but that is a lie, what he's saying. He knew that he was going to pay child support because I receive a medical card. I also receive cash assistance, and I have to cooperate with child support in order to receive those
Your
assistance.
Honor, me and Rakaya were separated towards July, maybe for a couple weeks. August, we got back together, towards the end of August, beginning of September, she told me I feel pregnant. And we went to buy like maybe 4 or 5 pregnancy tests that day.
Your Honor, I found out that I was pregnant September 18th, to be exact with you. And I went to that doctor's appointment and I came home, I handed him the papers. This is my results at the doctor. This is my proof of pregnancy here.
And what did he say when you handed him that?
He didn't have much to say. He just said, oh.
No, Your Honor, I never received any paperwork, Your Honor. I never received any paperwork at all. She said she was between 3 to 5 weeks. I believed her with 3 to 5 weeks. We got back together in August. We were having a lot of makeup sex, you can say. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's probably my baby. If it's 3 to 4 weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks, it all adds up. It's possible,
So you're doing the calculation in your mind and you say if this baby was conceived in August,
yeah,
then I am more than likely the father.
I was more than likely, I didn't have any doubts that it was my baby. After a couple months, I'm looking like, wow, she's getting kind of big, kind of fast, She doesn't look like she's, 5, 6 weeks. What's going on?
So as you were there living in the house with her, you start saying for 5 or 6 weeks, she's really showing.
Yeah, I'm like, she's really showing. That's what I'm thinking
Your
for myself.
Honor, I was carrying twins. That's why I was getting big so fast. It was my first time ever having twin children, and I didn't know at the time that I was even carrying twins.
When we went to the doctor, it probably was about 3 or 4 weeks later, and the doctor was telling her, yeah, you need to stop smoking cigarettes, and he was telling me, like, look, you need to be honest about smoking cigarettes. Here's her paperwork. And he showed me the paperwork, and it said 15 or 17 weeks or something like that. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
No.
So when you were at the doctor's appointment with her,
yes,
the doctor asked her, told her, encouraged her to stop smoking, but you also got a look at the paperwork.
No, he did not.
And when you saw it, it had how many weeks?
I received the paperwork in my hand, and it had to be between
sure
13 and 15 weeks.
And at that time, when you were at the appointment, how many weeks did you think she was?
She was supposed to be around 9 weeks at the time.
This is going through your head?
This is going through my head. So, and it's just everything that's been building up. It just was building up and building up, like, okay, so she couldn't have been 3 to 5 weeks when she first told me, So that means she deliberately lied to me about the situation.
Your Honor, I did not lie about how many weeks I was.
Yes,
I did not lie about anything.
Yes, she did.
During the whole pregnancy, I was with him. I was honest about everything with him.
She was correct about that. She was honest with me.
What did she say?
At the beginning of August, she told me when we got back together, she told me, oh yeah, I've been having unprotected.
I told you before August.
I've been having, she basically told me that she's been having unprotected sex with
That
a guy.
was in July, beginning of July. That was the beginning of July.
With a guy that she
I was with a
that's
kid
with a guy that
in
she has
July.
previous been with before.
So
Have
that,
cheated on me with
that
before.
right there is your doubt. Because as you were in that doctor's office and saw the calculation, and it
I didn't just
led
check,
you
I
back to
triple
the
checked.
time when you were on a break.
I triple checked,
Can I
Your Honor.
please
I did it in
speak,
my
Your
head.
Honor?
I got the calendar in my phone. I looked at the doctor
Your Honor,
weeks.
we was on
I'm
a
like,
break.
hold on, wait a minute. Let me
We were on
triple
a break.
check.
We were on a break.
And it led you back to the time when you were on the break.
And it led me back to exact. I'm like, no, Lord, you can't be telling me this is exact
We were on a
time.
break. We had been on a break for over a month and a half when I was with the other guy in July.
Your Honor.
We got back together the end of July, beginning of
Rakai's
August.
a dirty
And
fighter,
that's
Your Honor.
when
We've been
I
together almost
conceived
6
my
years.
child.
We've been together almost 6 years.
Right.
A break for us is, oh, well, I'm leaving out the house. I'm going to go to my parents' house for a while. Or you leave and you go with your mom or something like that.
No, that's not a break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month's time. So it was still no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
And so after this, you still stuck by her.
Exactly.
And then you signed the birth certificate when you were at the hospital, am I correct?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that day.
She had her sister come get the children. I came up to the hospital. I was with her the whole night, all until she had the baby. I was there. It was no problem. The agreement this was the agreement from the beginning. If the guy that I believe is Hannah's dad, if he didn't have any part of anything, I would sign a birth certificate and Hannah would never know a thing. Nobody would never know a thing. This would be the biggest family secret that we ever had. And I had no problem with that. And I had no problem with that because I'm not gonna let just someone come in and destroy my family like that. You know, it just don't.
You destroyed your family.
It just don't
Your
leave
Honor,
that
he
easy.
destroyed his family. He destroyed his family from the beginning. You had doubts, and that's why you're here. Because you kept on saying you didn't know if she was yours. And I was honest. I told him that it was a possibility.
Your Honor, Rakai's a dirty fighter. She's a dirty fighter. We just can't fight and I go sleep on the couch and she's in the bed. No, she brings the deepest, darkest secrets and they're true to the light. And she will tell, these not your kids anyway. Why you helping
Wait a
take
minute,
this?
wait, hold on.
Really?
At some point, she
Really?
said that to you?
Yes, to my face.
Really?
We had twins. Hannah is a twin. It was Hannah and Heather. One of our twins, Hannah was the smaller one. Heather was the bigger one. She ended up passing away a month after she was born.
I'm sorry.
You know,
Right.
we
What did you put me through the whole time? Was you supportive on that?
We grieved in two different ways. She grieved like, oh my God, I don't want to leave the house. I'm stressed. Like she's going through like women do. I understand that. I didn't grieve that type of way, you know? She was looking at me like I didn't have any type of sympathy about what was going on. Period.
You're saying
you can't.
He barely even grieved the loss. Do you believe that because he doubted the children?
Like he doubted them from the minute that I told him I was pregnant. Like he's sitting here like I wasn't honest with him. Just because you saying you didn't do nothing on your break with me, but we were broke up. We wasn't supposed to get back together. So I was doing me. What's wrong with that? And I was honest when we did decide we were going to be back together.
After all that, after she was honest with me, I respected that. You were honest with me. Let's get this right. She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Your Honor, matter of fact,
Is that true, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was.
Matter of fact,
I
Your Honor,
was. Because we decided that we wasn't going to be together.
We've been
on and off for 5 years.
Been on a break for about
We've
a month.
been on and off for 5 years.
And the guy that's Hannah's dad, he just slept with her 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. We're on a break.
Really,
We were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we share. It was the bed that we share.
How do you have this information? You told him this too, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I did.
She told me the information, but you want to know how I really know the information?
And it's not your bed, it's my home.
When I came in.
That's my house.
When I came in, my daughter, which is her daughter, not my biological daughter, but my 3-year-old daughter was like, man, it was somebody over here that wasn't right. I didn't know him. Wow, okay. So what's going on, Rakaya?
What you mean what's going on? What do you mean what's going on, Your Honor?
But she had
like I wasn't with him once again.
And
he had did some messed up stuff to me.
And another
like, why
thing
do
is,
he expect me to be loyal
the children
to him?
referred to her as Hannah's dad. The children referred to him as Hannah's dad.
Let's bring it down a notch. So, Mr. Thomas, Ms. Zachary says you weren't loyal to her too. Were you cheating?
No, I was not.
King, really?
Your Honor, I go to work, I come home, I cook, I take care of the kids. That's what I do, Your Honor. Every day. Every day.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from your witness. Please stand, sir. State your name for the court.
Pierre Hill.
Mr. Hill, you are Mr. Thomas's uncle.
Yes.
What do you know about this situation?
You know what, Your Honor, this whole situation is just crazy, like from the fighting to the arguing and stuff like that. I don't think that he is the father of Hannah.
You don't?
And the reason why
Why?
is because she just don't look like him. And another reason, one time me and, Rakaya was hanging out in the house, they had got into it. He had left to get some air. And she had actually showed me pictures. I don't know if she was mad or I don't know if she was in her feelings or something. I had never told him this ever because I just didn't want no parts of it. I didn't want to get into it. But she had shown me pictures of who she really thought was the baby's dad.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, when I seen these pictures, I didn't really know how to take it. I didn't know what to do.
Did you show Mr. Hill a picture of someone
Yes,
you said?
I did show him a picture, but that was after the fact that he already let me know that Mr. Thomas had already been talking to him about Hannah.
Right, I mean,
Okay.
but the way she told me though, it was as if like she was sure though.
You're
the
right.
way she told me it was as if she was sure. That's the way I took it at least. I could be wrong.
I want to submit this. This is
Really?
This
Jerome,
is
may I
a,
ask you
Really?
this, please? What is this, sir?
it's a. You know, I was going through her phone the other day. I'm thinking.
Really?
You know, I see Hannah's dad.
Really?
You know, I see Hannah's dad. I see the number in Hannah's dad. You know, it put a smile on my face. You know. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been gone for a couple weeks, you know. She got my name under Hannah's dad, you know, we're getting there, you know. And I look at it and I'm like, hold on. And I'm reading a text message. I'm like, this isn't me. This isn't even my phone number. The rest of the kids come and tell me Hannah's dad was here. Like, where did they come? Like, where did they
The
come?
kids are saying Hannah's dad was at the house?
Yes, they said Hannah's dad, and I'm like,
No,
what you mean
the kids
Hannah's
did
dad?
not tell him anything. Mr. Thomas was going through my phone, and that's how he knew.
So you are admitting that you have a person logged into your contacts as Hannah's
No,
dad?
I do not.
So this isn't from your phone?
I don't know what that document is, so I can't answer that for you.
That's a screenshot.
I do have
That's a screenshot of a
messages.
text
You
message
can
that's been
look-
printed out, Your Honor.
Are you familiar with the number that's listed here? The number
Your Honor,
you
I
know?
wear glasses, so I can't see from right there. What's the
There,
number?
224, and then it's 572, and we can't say the rest.
That's possible that that's his number.
Is that your phone number,
No,
Mr.
my
Thomas?
my number starts 224-619.
He has two different numbers, Your Honor.
All right.
Other number is
Given-
773.
He has two different numbers, Your Honor. Like,
All right.
for real.
All right. You, Mr. Thomas, say that this entire saga leading up to the point where she admitted that she had slept with this other gentleman, this entire doubt is the cause why you believe you deserve and you need to have a DNA test.
Yes, this is the cause of everything, Your Honor. This is the cause of relationship problems. This is the cause of me denying Hannah, and I wouldn't even say denying her. No one knows about this in my family. My mom, my dad, they all like, oh, well, you have another daughter. Even my oldest daughter, she always, well, when I'm gonna see my little sister? You know, when I'm gonna see my little sister? I don't walk around telling people this is not my daughter. All of her kids look at me like their father. I'm their father, not even look at me like their father. I'm their father. When I get in from work, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning, it can be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They're choking me to death, trying to get up and hug me. Hannah, she's jumping up and down when I come through the door. I love the kids just like they my kids, and they are my kids, you know? I have raised those kids from the beginning, and I'm not gonna stop raising those kids.
So what happens if Hannah is not your biological daughter today? What happens?
I'm really not sure. Like, the way I'm feeling right now, Your Honor, today is like really the last couple hours that I'm able to think in my head, like, okay, well, the maybe, you know what? I've been okay with that maybe, you know? I've been okay with saying maybe she's mine, maybe she's not, but maybe she's mine, you know? I've been okay with that, you know? When I find out these results, it's gonna be like 99.999, like, it's no maybes anymore, you know? It's nothing, and I don't know what that'll do to me, because I love this girl just like she's mine. I love her like I've been there from everything, from birth and everything. I always been there for her. And it's just like, you know, this like, it's just been tearing, like I always wanted a family since I was younger. It's like just tearing away my family, my children, like everything. It's not just a relationship that I'm leaving. Like, you know, they my life, everything to me. Waking up to my son in the morning, you know, going to sleep with my son, seeing Hannah laugh and play, you know, even with Rakaya. I'm sorry, like.
You don't have to apologize.
That's my life, you know, they my life. All I do is work and have them. I have my job and I have them, you know? And if they're gone, like, it's just gonna be my job, like, and I mean, that's not enough for me.
Your family's important to you.
My family's very important
And
to
that's
me, you know?
that's how it should be. That's how it should be. You never have to apologize for feeling emotional about your family. Not in this courtroom. All right, given the testimony I've heard thus far today, I believe there is a reasonable legal basis, cause to order a DNA test. I want you both to immediately go and submit to that testing, and we will reconvene for the results. Are we clear?
Yes.
Jerome, please escort them out. Court is adjourned.
Go ahead, man.
Hello, Mr. Thomas and Ms. Zachary. We are back in court. You have submitted to DNA testing. Is there anything you'd like to say to the court before I read these results?
I'm here to hear what you got to say, but no, it really don't matter. I already got my mind made up.
Anything you'd like to say, Ms. Zachary?
I just want to say I made mistakes. You know, I never meant to hurt anybody. I'm nervous. I'm scared. Like, I just want him to be her dad. That's it.
I understand. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Thomas versus Zachary, when it comes to 15-month-old Hannah Thomas, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
Ms. Rice, you are appearing in court to prove the defendant, Mr. Debaca, is the father of your unborn baby.
Correct.
You claim he has denied paternity and state Mr. Debaca is a cheater who has posted several online ads looking for girlfriends while you were pregnant.
Yes.
In addition to the paternity suit, you were also asking the court to award you $750 for plane tickets and a loan to Mr. Debaca.
Yes.
Mr. Debaca, you say Ms. Rice cheated on you throughout your relationship, and therefore you have reason to doubt you're the father of Ms. Rice's unborn baby.
Yeah.
You say she's a party girl with far too many guy friends who cannot be trusted. Now, Ms. Rice, how does this relationship come to be? How did it begin?
It began about 1.5 years ago. I responded to an ad on the internet. He was looking for friends. I went over to his house and we started hanging out and we stayed up for a while, and then he started asking me to have sex with him.
That's not a lie.
He
Why would you ask a girl
me to have sex with him,
Okay,
and
please.
he kept asking me
Okay,
and
that
asking
doesn't
me
even-
and asking me, and I told him, no, I do not sleep with guys on the first night, and I said that way more than once.
She gave into it. She's
I
not
finally
an adult.
gave
She's
in.
not an adult. She just happened to just give into my
So
saying.
you ended up having sex,
Yes.
and then where does the relationship go from there?
I invited him over to my house to come hang out with me, and he just moved in. He
Oh,
just
okay.
moved in. I got him a job,
Oh,
and he
okay.
just moved in.
She didn't give me a job,
I got him a
just
job
didn't
with a
move
mutual
in.
friend.
I didn't
and
say
he
move
started
your
with
stuff
me
Then
over.
before you got on the job or after?
Before.
before.
Okay.
But she
Came
didn't
over
give
and
me.
just stayed.
She invited me over to her house to just hang out for a night. I went over to her house for a night, and I just happened to stay because we just happened to keep having sex. It was just like, it was more of a friendship with like benefits. It wasn't, we were in a relationship, we weren't claiming each other as boyfriend or girlfriend.
We were going to be in a
The
relationship.
guy she was living
Okay,
with.
hold on. Let me understand this.
The guy she was living with was married. He offered me a job because I was staying there, and I was just like, sure, I'll take the job.
Okay. How do you describe this relationship early on, Mr. Debaca? What is this relationship about? You say it's just friends with benefits, and yet you're living under the same roof with her.
I live with my mom. Me and my mom don't have sex. I'm just saying, like,
You
just because
just
you
said
live with
it's
somebody, it's not a
friends
relationship.
with
That don't even make any
benefits,
sense.
But you're living under the same roof with her. The people she works for gets you a job. In your mind, you have absolutely no tie or responsibility to her. You're just having random sex, and you got a roof over your head.
Unprotected sex.
Yeah. What's the?
But yet you have it.
no responsibility to
But yet
anyone
you
or
have it
anything.
on
No
Facebook.
relationship.
Did you ever tell me that we were in a relationship?
Yeah, it was on
Okay, well, then if
Facebook.
you
It was on
did-
the internet.
Okay, so if we were in a relationship, which you say we were in a relationship, right? When I was at work, she has dudes texting her asking them to come over when I'm at work with her boss. So, like, how's that a relationship? How's that a relationship?
Can't a girl be friends with guys?
Asking them to come over and asking them to cuddle?
I didn't ask any guy to cuddle.
Asking them to cuddle?
I didn't ask anybody to come cuddle with me. I
So
have
you
guy
know she's
friends.
talking to other guys, but she calls and says she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so sure that you're not the father of Ms. Rice's baby?
It seems every 5 minutes I talk to her or we break up, she's pregnant. Like, we'll break up, and then all of a sudden she wants to call me a couple weeks later and tell me she's pregnant.
That's not
and
true.
it's happened twice.
No.
Every time that it happens, she's trying to trap me into it, so
I'm not trying to trap you. Maybe if you'd own up to what you're doing.
The baby's not mine because of what she was emailing other dudes, and the reason I left because she was texting guys telling them to come over, and her friend, her roommate, went off to this army base. They're the only two girls there. They came back, her roommate brags about she had this huge old orgy, a bunch of dudes slept with her and stuff, and she was just there sitting on the sidelines, please. Like,
No, that didn't even happen.
Well, they just
None of
watched.
that happened. We went out to eat. That's it.
Oh.
We went out to eat.
You guys went out to eat.
Not even a big deal.
So at this point, you know she's pregnant with the child she's carrying now.
Mm-hmm.
You know she is.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, why do you doubt that this child is yours?
Well, when I was over there, I was looking through her phone, and she had a picture of someone dude's in her phone. Wasn't my. I have tattoos on my.
How many times do you need to say?
So I'm just saying
he needs
that's
to
how
say
I.
it
That,
so he can.
no, that's
so
how
he
I
can
knew.
Justify.
That's
He
how I
can
knew. No,
make
I'm just
sure
saying.
that he has it down crystal clear because.
Okay, so you saw, that's one doubt. You saw the picture.
Yeah, that.
And what else?
All right, so we had a little party at our house one time, and I was passing out in the living room, and one of my friends from work said that he was gonna go take her to the room. They never came out. I woke up, and then the next day, his friend said that he slept with somebody. There's only 2 girls in that house, Destiny and her little sister, and the little sister was with her boyfriend. So who else did he sleep
He was
with?
trying to get with my little sister. I never did anything. Michael and I went to bed that night in our room.
Now, apparently I went to bed with him.
All right, moving on to your next doubt.
Her massage clients, because she had massage clients, she's a massage therapist. She was gonna do a massage for a family friend is what she called him. A family friend is what she called him.
Okay.
And then she said, yeah, come to my house. He asked who was all gonna be over there. She said, me, her boyfriend. And he was just like, oh, no,
Now
never
he's
mind,
just
never
making up
mind.
stories. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I've never done massage inside my house.
Yeah.
So what's your account of this, Ms. Rice? He moves out. He finds out you texting other guys and you've got guy friends.
I didn't know the reason why he moved out. He just changed his
just
relationship status, and my mom was the one who told me that we had broken up.
You say this happens over and over again when she says she's pregnant after you break up. What happened
did it
the
twice.
first time? So the first time, explain to me what happened then.
I said that, well, the baby's, like, not mine. Obviously, I denied it because I knew what she was doing. She always, like, because before, like, she would always tell me that she would be hanging out with her friends, guy friends. That's what I'm saying. She's not like that to be just a guy's friend.
All right.
You don't even know me.
Now, Ms. Rice, what happens after this? You tell him you're pregnant. He denies and says, this may not be my child.
He denies. He says, that's not my baby. I'm not going to do anything for this baby. I'm not paying child support. I'm not going to take a paternity test. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And
I didn't say I wouldn't take a paternity test. I told her I would take a paternity
He
test.
kept calling me crazy, saying I'm stupid, all this stuff. So
She was acting
I just
crazy. I didn't call her
moved
stupid.
on.
All right, so you all are arguing. And then was there a period of time where you weren't speaking?
Yeah,
Or you just kept this arguing
No,
going?
we
There was a period
stopped
of time
talking
where
for
we
a
quit
while.
talking, and then he decided that he wanted to talk to me later on and move in with me again. Move in with me for a second time for the sake of the child.
I randomly decided
wanting to
that.
be with me.
You did?
Nah. She kept bugging me and telling me to go over there. And I decided
No,
I needed
he wanted
to change.
to get out
and
of
I
his
said,
grandma's house
and I
because he was
said-
living in her basement.
And I said if
why
I needed,
why wouldn't he
and if
wanna
I
come
said
live
if
with
I
me?
needed to change, and if it was my child, I would go out there.
Okay, so let's fast forward. She's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
You all are living together.
Mm-hmm. She wanted somebody to be there. That's what she kept complaining about. So I went, and I was gonna be there for
I don't
her
think I complained.
during
You
her
offered
pregnancy.
to come out there.
But then somehow you have to break up again because you say her pattern is every time you break up, she calls and says she's pregnant. So at some point you broke up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left again. He
And-
decided that he wanted to post on the internet for dating, again, using my cell phone, sneaking out of our bed, going and taking pictures of himself in the bathroom to post for other girls to see, looking for girls to hang out with him, but
First of
telling
all,
me that they were just girlfriends.
that doesn't
But
even
wait,
make any
if
sense.
I can't be friends with guys, why can he be friends with girls?
So why is that, Mr. Debaca?
No. Look at. Okay, all right. First of all, yeah, I posted. No, I posted the ad. No,
Are
I
we
posted the
stuttering?
ad and said no. I posted the ad and said that like it was for girls to be friends and stuff. But that's the only reason why I did it was for revenge of her, because we broke up and the next day she did the same exact thing.
Both of you seem to have vastly different accounts of where you were as a couple. Now, potentially, you will be joined together as parents of this unborn child.
Yes.
All right, we're going to get to the DNA results in just a moment. First, I want to deal with the arbitration. Ms. Rice, you say the defendant owes you $750 for unused airline tickets and unpaid loans. Please explain how you came up with that number.
Okay, after he had left and moved back to Colorado, I told him 2 weeks later that I was pregnant. Once I found out, right away I told him, and he was excited, so he told me that he would come back. So I bought him a plane ticket for $100.
I never said I was excited about
He
that.
never got on the plane. And then I later found out the truth that he just didn't want to get on. So I paid him $50 to change the flight for another day.
Okay.
Same thing.
I never told her I
Didn't
wanted
get
to
on.
go back.
So I changed the flight for another day. This time he promised me that he would get on this airplane and come.
Nope.
And last minute, I had a ride set up to the airport. I had already paid gas money. I had concert tickets for us to go to a concert. And I had just gone grocery shopping to make a nice meal for when he came home. And he gave me a call and told me, my brother said I shouldn't go.
But you told her you were coming. You just later spoke with your family and they advised
the tickets.
You could have
She
told
bought
me
the
you didn't want to
tickets
come.
because she's
just-
crazy. Yeah, I never
Okay.
told her I wanted to go.
How much did the plane tickets total? $100 plus $50 in the change fee.
Yes,
3 change fees.
correct.
$250. And you say your suit is for $750. Where's the other $500 come from?
The other $500 comes from borrowed money. I'd send him $100 here, $60 there,
He'd call you and
$20
say
here.
what?
Can you send me money? Can you wire me money through Walmart?
No.
Can you send me money? I need money. I need to eat. I want chocolate. I want juice. I want this. I want
What?
that.
Why would I ask her for money if I already have a job? She just
So
keeps
you've
adding
never
on
asked
stuff.
her for any money?
I asked her for money one time, and it was to pay for the rest of my money to go to my studio. That was it, and she didn't send it, and I just dropped it. I said
No,
whatever.
He asked me for money multiple times, and I've sent him multiple
So
times.
this is a guy that you were with that completely blew you off, and your mother had to tell you you were broken up. Then he leaves at the drop of a dime, and you bought plane tickets and changed him 3 times. He never got on the plane. And you're sending him money, in your own words, for juice and candy because he's hungry and he needs to eat. Ms. Rice.
Because of what she says,
He told
though.
me
So you just
that
gonna
if I were
Surely.
to send him money, that he would come see me.
Does that make any sense, though?
If you send him money.
Does that make
Yes.
any sense, though? Why would somebody do that? Think about
So look,
that.
Mr. Debaca, be quiet. Shut your mouth. Now, Ms. Rice, let's have a keep it real moment. Were you feeling that desperate, that alone, that you were just sending this money for an opportunity for him to just come be by your side?
Yes, probably. Because I thought that there was more to our relationship than what he's saying. And I thought that we actually cared about each other. At least that's how I felt about him. But I guess that's not what it was.
And I can see the hurt in your face
Yeah,
and in your eyes because you really cared about him.
I did.
Did you ever feel like he felt the same way about you?
Yes and no. I mean, maybe part of him did, but after hearing this, I don't think that he really does or did.
Okay. You know, I've listened to your testimony. I need to understand whether or not that money was truly a loan or was it a gift?
It was a loan. He kept telling me that he would pay me back.
She never told me when she...
It's your opinion that she never even sent you any money.
$20 was one time.
All right. Now that's what I needed to hear. Because something was telling me you were lying. And I said to myself, well,
no, wait.
Maybe this girl is just crazy enough to think she sent some money, and maybe it just never happened, like Mr. Debaca said. Now, I pressed you on this about 5 minutes ago. You told me the only thing I ever asked her for was money from my studio, and she never sent it, so I just let it go. Now, you are saying she actually sent you $20. Who goes and sends somebody $20?
She sent me $20.
You gonna go all the way to
She didn't send me no $750.
$20?
She didn't send me no $750.
I don't believe what you're saying. I'll tell you what I do believe is, I believe she was giving you the money and hoping that you would show up to support her. And for that reason, Ms. Rice, I cannot award you the $500 that you say you sent him, because I believe it was a gift.
Okay.
And I believe you did it out of love for him and because you wanted his attention. You lucky because you're lying. And you know you got some money from this girl. But I will say this. As for those plane tickets, you're not going to convince me that some girl working is not going to call an airline and put your name on some tickets and sit there and change the ticket 3 times if she has not been told that you're actually going to show up. That didn't happen. And for that reason, I'm going to award you the $250 for the plane tickets as well as the change fees. Are we clear?
Yes.
All right, it's time for the DNA results. Jerome?
Okay, Your Honor.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. In the case of Rice versus Debaca, Mr. Debaca. Now, before we get started and have these results, which I have right here in my hand, Dr. Baird of DNA Diagnostics has explained to us how a prenatal test works.
Judge Lake, in the case of Ms. Rice, we did a non-invasive prenatal paternity test. Let me explain what this test is. It's a relatively new test that works with a blood sample from the mother, not the more invasive procedures that were available in the past. It allows one to determine to a very high certainty whether or not an alleged father is the biological father of the fetus, and allows couples to make a safe decision based on that.
Thank you, Dr. Baird. In the case of Rice versus Debaca, when it comes to the child that Ms. Rice is currently carrying, Mr. Debaca, it has been determined that you are the father.
What did I tell you? What do you have to say?
Nothing to say now.
I'll take responsibility and take care of my child. I just wanted to be sure.
Exactly what I want you to do.
Can I apologize to her?
You absolutely can.
I'm sorry, Destiny. I really am. And I will take care of the baby. Am I allowed to give her a hug?
Yes, you may. I don't know where this relationship is going to end. I need to tell you this looking you in your eyes. You cannot make a man love you by having his child. You understand me?
Yes.